Good afternoon, Team Ramstein. I am Technical Sergeant Shang Morris, an instructor from Ramstein Airman Leadership School. On behalf of the Commandant, Master Sergeant Kendrick Burton, and our hosts, the Commander, 435th Air Ground Operations Wing and 435th Air Expeditionary Wing, Colonel Daniel Clayton, welcome to the Ramstein Airman Leadership School's first virtual graduation ceremony for Class 2020-6. Due to the events of COVID, the Ramstein Airmen Leadership School was forced to postpone our last two classes in the best interest of our students and the instructors' health. Needless to say, this class was met with much anticipation and an overwhelming number of staff sergeants and hand sanitizers. The mission of the Airmen Leadership School program is to prepare airmen to be professional warfighting airmen and space professionals who can supervise and lead Air Force work teams to support the employment of air and space power. The students received 192 hours of comprehensive instruction in 4 outcomes: mission, leadership, problem solving, and Air Force culture. They will be using this knowledge to further our country's vision of democracy, freedom, and peace. We would like to recognize all directors, commanders, chief master sergeants, first sergeants, supervisors, mentors, family, and friends of our graduates who have extended their support throughout the course. It is your understanding, sacrifice, and patience that has allowed your members to make it thus far. Thank you for viewing today's unique ceremony. And finally, today's event would not be possible without the sacrifices of the brave airmen who have fallen in combat, our airmen that are currently defending our freedom around the world, and the support of their families. At this time, here are a few motivational words from our Commandant, Master Sergeant Kendrick Burton.
Class 2020-6, you finally made it to this point in your career. So I just want to congratulate you as a Commandant and thank you for a job extremely well done. So many stories and so many experiences that you've heard and learned from during your time here. Extremely excited to hear and to see what you guys do as you move on in your careers. I ask that during your time here, you remember the things that you were taught. You remember the actions that were challenged and those behaviors that and perspectives that were challenged as well. Take those things that you've learned, experiences that you've had and experiences that you've had with your fellow peers, and formulate what your version of leadership is going to look like from here on out. It's extremely important that we remember that our behaviors and attitudes reflect and will dictate our actions going forward. So as you graduate here today, just remember that your learning and your experiences don't just end here with ALS, but you're going to move on and you're going to be able to face new challenges and new hardships and new obstacles that you'll have to find creative ways to be able to solve and get past. So congratulations again, and we'll see you around.
Thank you, Sergeant Burton. When the airmen of Class 2020-6 arrived at Ramstein Airmen Leadership School on the 13th of July, they took the first steps on a new path in their Air Force careers as supervisors and non-commissioned officers. Today, we return them to duty, focused and ready for their responsibilities. The mere fact that these 46 airmen are graduating today indicates that they have achieved success. And now, the moment all the students have been waiting for. The diplomas announced today represent 5 weeks of hard work and dedication. It symbolizes each individual's commitment and responsibility to the significant accomplishments achieved today, which will be used as a stepping stone within their career paths. Starting with myself, each instructor will have the distinct pleasure to announce their students' names. As each graduate is called, please show your support by commenting below or click those like and heart icons on your screen. I am the instructor for Avenger Flight, and I'm proud to announce our graduates, starting with the flight leader. From the Headquarters USAFE, AF Africa A10NO, Staff Sergeant Nicholas Reyes. From the 786th Force Support Squadron, Senior Airman Ria Burgoyne. From the 693rd Intelligence Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Graham Cunliffe Owen. From the 721st Aerial Port Squadron, Senior Airman Corey Eberhardt. From the 86th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Terry Kularski. From the 86th Logistics Readiness Support Squadron, Senior Airman Alexander Longmire. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Griffin Lopez. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Staff Sergeant Markel Lovelace. Ladies and gentlemen, Avenger Flight. Avenger Flight!
We are inevitable!
Avengers, congratulations and great job on coming together as a team. I enjoyed my time with y'all and wish each of you the very best in your journey up ahead as a future supervisor, leader, and mentor. Never forget, you are incredible, you're on time, farmers, the champions, feeling 22, ready, and most importantly, you are inevitable.
I am Staff Sergeant Christopher Cummings, the instructor for Defender Flight. I am proud to announce our graduates, starting with the flight leader. From the 86th Comptroller Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ashton Boxley. From the 721st Aerial Port Squadron, Staff Sergeant Aaron Bauer. From the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, Senior Airman Jenna Beaver. From the Headquarters USAFE Africa A6, Staff Sergeant Aaron Goldstein. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Staff Sergeant Damian Hewitt. From the 691st Cyberspace Operations Squadron, Staff Sergeant Giovanni Perez. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Stephen Vargas. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Austin Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, Defender Flight.
Defender Flight! Shh!
Defender Flight, it's been a trip. Hopefully you've learned a lot and you've enjoyed your experience here, and hopefully I contributed to something that you can take away and hopefully live by it and become a new you. In any case, I hope we had a lot of fun together. I know I did, so good luck out there.
I am Staff Sergeant Gregory Foster, the instructor for Freedom Flight. I am proud to announce our graduates, starting with the flight leader. From the 450th Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Michael Kanister. From the 721st Aerial Port Squadron, Senior Airman Raisin Bryant. From the 86th Medical Squadron, Staff Sergeant Kayla Ferguson. From the 7th Weather Squadron, Staff Sergeant Gina Hazelton. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Parker Johnson. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Austin Lawton. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Caleb Oslin. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Diedrich Young. Ladies and gentlemen, Freedom Flight.
Freedom Flight! We all right!
That's right. Hey, Freedom Flight. Absolutely honored and privileged to have been your instructor through this journey. Definitely want to encourage you not to forget any of the tools that you've learned throughout this experience. Go out there and make a difference, and don't forget about your people. We've had an absolute blast. You guys are going to do awesome, and I'm super excited to see you guys on the other side.
I am Technical Sergeant Joshua Venegas, the instructor for Guardian Flight. I am proud to announce our graduates, starting with the flight leader. From the 786 Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Derek Fath. From the 786 Force Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Trinan Fernandez. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Sidney Gray. From the 721st Aerial Port Squadron, Staff Sergeant Malcolm McCord. From the 435th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Trevor Pirelli. From the 603rd Air Communication Squadron, Staff Sergeant Alex Spacek. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Matthew Wilson. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Staff Sergeant Derek Witt. Ladies and gentlemen, Guardian Flight.
Guardians! All gas, no brakes!
Alright, Guardian Flight, this is it. Day of graduation. Remember, 2 important life lessons. 1, you're not trash, and you're better than that. And the second one, Never forget and never lose your dinosaur.
I am Staff Sergeant Philip Zavala, the instructor for Sentry Flight. I am proud to announce our graduates, starting with the flight leader. From the 435th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Matthew Euler. From the 721st Aerial Port Squadron, Staff Sergeant Holly Gibbs. From the 786th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Alec Newton. From the 1st Communication Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ryan Owen. From the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, Staff Sergeant Christopher Pine. From the 603rd Air Communication Squadron, Staff Sergeant Herodes Tejera. Ladies and gentlemen, Sentry Flight.
Sentry Flight! Get good, clown!
Congratulations, Sentry Flight. You did an amazing job. I'm here for you if you ever need me, whether it's tomorrow or years down the road. You can reach out to me at any time. Stay good.
I am Staff Sergeant George Lennon, the instructor for Warrior Flight. I'm proud to announce our graduates, starting with the flight leader. From the 721st Aerial Port Squadron, Senior Airman Angel Quintanilla Rios. From the 1st Combat Communication Squadron, Staff Sergeant Dabel Brutus. From the 2nd Air Support Operations Squadron, Staff Sergeant Christian Miller. From Headquarters USAFE Af Africa, A1, Staff Sergeant Caitlin Miller. From the 86th Operations Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jayla Patton. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Colin Ranner. From the 86th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant David Rogers. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Tiffany Wolf. Ladies and gentlemen, Warrior Flight.
Warrior Flight! What it do?
Hey Warrior Flight, it's Sergeant Lennon. I just want to say I'm really proud of y'all. You were able to complete ALS with all the obstacles that COVID presented to you. You still pushed through. I'm going to leave you with one last bit of advice, and it's something I said at the first day of class. Ego and power can trip, but humble never stumbles. Keep that in mind. You're about to be new supervisors back in your duty sections. Just make sure you take care of your people and they'll take care of you. That's the last thing I have for you guys. Go out there and be great and continue to change the culture.
A big congratulations once again to all of our graduates. The Airman Leadership School's philosophy is to help mold airmen into better supervisors with a strong emphasis on Air Force leadership, academics, discipline, and teamwork. Though every graduate has met the objectives, there are those who went above and beyond the normal standards. Several students have excelled in all areas of the curriculum and will now be recognized for their individual achievements. The first award being presented today is the Commandant's Leadership Award. After being evaluated throughout the course, one student from each flight is nominated by their peers based purely on their leadership qualities. This award goes to the student who displayed outstanding leadership in the classroom and beyond. In order to determine the recipient of the award, interviews were conducted by the Commandant with each of the following nominees. Please give them a hearty congratulations as they are announced. From Avenger Flight, Staff Sergeant Nicholas Reyes. From Defender Flight,
Staff Sergeant Aaron Goldstein.
from Freedom Flight,
Staff Sergeant Kayla Ferguson.
from Guardian Flight,
Senior Airman Sidney Gray.
from Sentry Flight,
Staff Sergeant Matthew Euler.
from Warrior Flight.
Staff Sergeant Caitlin Miller.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant's Leadership Award recipient for Class 2020-6 is Staff Sergeant Nicholas Reyes. The next award is the Academic Achievement Award. This award is given to the student in the class with the highest academic standing and denotes excellence as a scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Academic Achievement Award recipient for Class 2020-6 is
Staff Sergeant Holly Gibbs.
The next award is the Distinguished Graduate Award. This award recognizes the students who have excelled in all areas of leadership, performance, and academic evaluations, placing them in the top 10% of the class. 4 students have earned this distinction. The first distinguished graduate is
Staff Sergeant Kayla Ferguson.
the second distinguished graduate is
Staff Sergeant Dabel Brutus.
The third distinguished graduate is
Staff Sergeant Caitlin Miller.
the final distinguished graduate is
Staff Sergeant Matthew Euler.
Today's final award is the John L. Levitou Award. This award is named in honor of the lowest ranking airman in history to receive the Medal of Honor and is the highest level of recognition in enlisted professional military education. The student who receives this award is the most distinguished graduate who clearly excelled in all areas of leadership, performance, and academic evaluations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ramstein Airmen Leadership School is extremely proud to present the John L. Levitou Honor Graduate for Class 2020-6.
Staff Sergeant David Rogers.
Congratulations to all of our award recipients. And it is now with great pleasure that I introduce the Commander, 435th Air Ground Operations Wing and 435th Air Expeditionary Wing, Colonel Daniel Clayton, for closing remarks for our graduates.
Greetings, ALS Class of 2020-06. I'm Colonel Dan Clayton, Commander of the 435th Air Ground Operations Wing in Europe and the 435th Air Expeditionary Wing in Africa. I'm joined today by our Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Jeremy Underseer. We understand this is not a typical ALS graduation. However, during these trying times, there are still many reasons to celebrate. So please let me be the first to congratulate you on achieving this milestone.
The cadre of Airmen Leadership School instilled in you the skills, methodology, and the tactics you will need to succeed as leaders in our Air Force. Now that you've completed this milestone in your career, it's incumbent upon you to take the initiative and to train the next generation of our airmen.
So as you return to your work centers, focus on honing the skills acquired during your time at ALS to grow your leadership abilities. As we shared with you all previously, it is important to shape your leadership style to both the situation and your airmen. Every situation will be different, and more importantly, every airman is unique. The way you address each situation today may be different for the methods needed for tomorrow. So the tactics that you employ for Senior Airman Jones, for example, may not work for A1C Thomas. So the success depends on your ability to adjust yourself based on your audience, your airmen.
Today is the day that you begin to think about the responsibility to others. You are no longer responsible for just your actions, but also those of your team. We ask you to think about this change, evaluate your biases, understand your blind spots, and address every one of them. With a better understanding of your emotional intelligence, you will lead from a position of empathy, of appreciation, and of character.
So the last time we met, we challenged each of you to slow down and think more. Most situations you'll be faced with, you'll have time to think before responding, to consider multiple options, and to make informed decisions. Each decision you make will have an impact on the mission and the team around you. The time you take to make the correct decision will be time well spent. Additionally, we need you to focus on deliberately developing, mentoring, and fostering growth across our force. When you put your airmen first, both professionally and personally, their effectiveness will continue to grow. Cultivate a culture where your airmen can flourish.
It's also important to say thank you to the families that support us, our way of life, and our mission. While waiting with my wife and small son at Panama City Airport to board an airplane where I was destined for Afghanistan, I was struck by a passerby's actions. A woman approached my wife Charlotte, not me, and thanked her for her sacrifice. She said that without my wife's commitment to me, without her courage to tackle the problems at home, the things I was sent to do would certainly suffer. And she was right. Oftentimes our families are left out of the many thank yous that we in uniform receive. So the commander and I are here today to say thank you to the families and to thank all of you for your sacrifice and your commitment to your airmen, our Air Force, and our nation.
So teammates, so far 2020 has presented us with many opportunities to succeed. We ask every one of you to take the lessons you've learned over the past few weeks, roll up your sleeves, and start leading the next generation of airmen. Empower them to challenge you and to ask tough why questions. And do not respond with, we've always done it that way, or we've never done it that way. Focus on creating a culture where your airmen are able to establish processes, procedures, and practices that will make lasting change. Finally, thank you for your service. It is an honor and a privilege to serve alongside of you every day. Congratulations again, and lead your airmen well.
Thank you, Colonel Clayton. This concludes our virtual ceremony. Please stay safe and healthy as you lead the next generation of airmen. Thank you for viewing and have an amazing day.